Thank you for calling 100 Sad Design. Welcome back to episode 17. We're finally back in person. I don't even know how long it's been. I feel like it's been like months. But doesn't matter, we're back in person. How have you been past 2 weeks? 2 weeks.
Been okay. Nothing too new. I've just been working. I have 2 jobs now.
Yeah?
I'm working at a beer garden and at the restaurant, both part-time, because I'm trying to get out of Nampa and the beer gardens in Boise, so a little bit closer to home. So just working.
Crazy hours, or is it
It's not crazy, but
okay. Nice.
It's just like not consistent, and like I work 2 days at the restaurant and then 1 day at the beer garden and then another day at the restaurant and then another day at the beer garden. It's just like back and forth.
Yeah.
Crazy. I haven't started any new projects. I did finally finish the books that I've been binding and covering
Nice.
for, since we started this podcast pretty much. Those are finally
Takes
done.
time. There's no due date, so
There's not. And I chose the hardest design ever to put on them, and so it always took forever to weed the vinyl and stuff. Sometimes I'd have to redo it, like recut it out because I lost a whole word, and I was like, come on.
Or it's like you just lose a letter or like a dot, and you're like, where did that thing go?
Literally was... because I wanted to remain consistency throughout them. I kept putting quotes on the back of them, but I should have made them bigger. But because I did the first one so small, they all had to be like the same size, So it took forever to weed these quotes. And I was doing it yesterday. I accidentally lost one of the L's.
Oh.
And I was like, I'm not going to cut out this whole thing for this one L. So I very tinily, it's so small that it...
Did you make your own L?
I made my own. I cut out a piece of vinyl and slapped it on there. And it was like, yeah, I can't tell.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm not cutting this out and weeding this out again.
That's something that I always hate about vinyl is like sometimes you just rip off a letter.
Yeah.
And you don't even notice until you put like the transfer tape on. And you're like, God.
Yeah.
I've definitely done that a couple times too. And it looks...
And
if you don't point it out...
It's small enough that,
if you don't point it out, no one will know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
Nice.
I've just been doing a bunch of... no big projects. I think I mentioned last episode I finished the menus for the restaurant, so I haven't been working on that. I've just been cutting random things out of my Cricut and...
Nice.
slapping in places.
I don't even have mine plugged in.
I made a little treat jar for my cat because I'm obsessed with him. And it says like a classic like cat treats on the front of it. And then on the back, though, it has like a picture of a cat that looks like him in like one of those awkward positions with like his leg up in the air and, everything. And it says like Rowan needs his treats now with an exclamation point. Just hidden on the other side of the jar. I was like, I'm turning into one of those like soccer moms that
I think that's normal.
Everything labeled from their Cricut. And
I think that's pretty normal. Like,
I just get bored and that's what I do.
Yeah. I feel like though if you have a Cricut, you can do so much with it. So it's really like,
Yeah. I got a heat press too, and I've been like wanting to use it. So I'm like,
nice.
Gotta make things.
Yeah.
So I can use the heat press too.
I've definitely been the mindset of trying to actually start making stuff, but I haven't gone there. Yeah. I don't know why.
It's hard.
I think it's mainly because it's all collecting dust in my garage.
It's hard when you're working too. I get
I come home. Well, now it's like, I bought this bowling pass thing where you can bowl 3 games every day for the month. So I've been just going bowling after work, and by the time I'm home, it's like 7:30, and I'm like, I'm not doing anything.
I have this like weird thing too, because like I work later in the day, but I can't I have a hard time getting myself like started on stuff because I'm like, I don't want to start something and then have to stop it because I have to go to work. Yeah. I don't want it to run into work time. So half the time I end up just like sitting there waiting to go to work, doing nothing. And then I get home from work and it's like midnight and I'm tired and I just go to bed.
Yeah, it's just one of those weird work schedules. I know. I really wish, like, I feel like it may suck at first waking up, but like if you were to work a 7 to 3 job, you have so much time in the afternoon.
That is one thing I miss about working at the art museum. I didn't love working there, but
the hours
were nice. I mean, they weren't super long shifts. Sometimes I wish they were a little bit longer for my sanity. I'm glad they weren't, but it was nice, like going in at 8 and then being done by 1, and then I had the whole day.
Yeah. I mean, I'm literally like right in the middle of the day. Like I work 10 to 6. So it's like, if I wake up, I could technically do something for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no. So I normally don't work on things unless it's like an emergency type thing, but normally it's not. And then when I get home, it's just like, I should mute this. When I get home, I'm just kind of like, meh. I've also been in like a what are those? A creative block.
I think we talked about that last time too. I definitely have been feeling that.
There's nothing, like even at work, like I'm fine coming up with like a simple new design for like a plaque. I'm just like, I'm just gonna center line everything.
You just don't want to go out of your way to try to make anything.
I don't know. It's like attitude and energy towards certain things has just been low.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
I've been trying to, get back into the like creative grind because I do like miss it a lot. And
I miss just focusing on a project for like months.
Yeah.
Like a school project.
But then I tell myself, well, I have all these projects that I want to do. Let's just do it. And then I sit there and I'm like, no, never mind.
Yeah.
But like I've been getting up in the morning and riding my bike or walking on the green belt, and like I'll find a little spot and I'll sit down for a little bit and I'll just like doodle.
That's something I want to get into
pretty more. But just like do something.
Yeah, I want to like. I mean,
maybe it'll spark something. I don't know.
Yeah, like I go into town every Saturday, and I was like, I feel like I should just stop somewhere, pull out my sketchbook, and then draw something, and take it back here and do something with it.
Yeah.
And it's just like a little thing to do. And then you have a collection of different things of the city.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's not a whole lot out here. But I don't know. I used to actually like to sketch stuff like on paper, but I have not sketched a single thing.
All the time.
Yeah.
Like, especially, I don't know, when I was in school, like, I don't know if it was because I was always carrying a sketchbook with me. Maybe we need to do that again. Just like always have it on you. But every time I had free time, I was sitting there just like doodling.
Yeah.
Whatever. And I was getting like super good at drawing, and then school ended and I haven't been doing it. And now I'm like, damn,
I think that's
sucks.
just what it does. Like, I feel like you finally get that break and you're like, wow, this is nice.
And then
but then you get used to it, and then like trying to get back into those old habits is like, man, this is hard.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
But my drawing skills now, not what they used to be.
Yeah, mine are not that good either. Like,
it was pretty good.
Mine were okay. I'd say pretty intermediate. I tried doing stuff in Procreate this last week, and I don't know why. Like, I had a vision, but when I tried to actually draw it, it was like, this sucks.
Stick figure.
And I was just like, what happened? Like, literally last year around this time, I was doing the same thing, perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But now it's just, I don't know. So it's weird.
Gotta keep pushing ourselves, I guess.
I guess so. You gotta force yourself to work on things.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you if you had any projects or anything new going on, but
Nothing big.
Sounds like, yeah,
just like probably only worked on 2 new things. One thing is still in like my draft area. I think I'm pretty close to finalizing. I'm not sure. Trying to make a new lino print for like when I send out letters. Just because I only have one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm kind of sick of it. And also I feel like it's just fun to do. Especially if you like have a show in the background. Speaking of shows, I've been watching Abbott Elementary.
I love that show. Oh my gosh.
I think I probably started Saturday, and I'm almost done with all 4 seasons.
It's addicting.
It's so funny, and it just, I mean, like my mom's a 7th grade teacher, so I'm kind of like familiar with how everything goes. Like, she comes home, she's talking with her like friends about it, and it's just how bad. We go to visit when we're home. We bring lunch and like eat and talk with like her and some of her coworkers, and it's pretty much exactly the same. I mean, it's a little bit different, I think.
A little
based on like their. It's more dramatic, and it's more like it's like a different area. It's like Philadelphia, but they're not like. I don't even know how to word it. They're not like supported from the district. Yeah. You know, it's like very like bare bottom school, which is not like the schools like I went to when I was in that grade. So it's interesting, but it's also just, it's so funny.
It is funny.
Like, I've laughed at like a good amount of shows because of how funny it was, but this one is like, I have like a verbal laugh sometimes, which is pretty rare when it comes to shows. Because normally it's just like a smile. But there's some like out of pocket scenes that are just so good.
Yeah.
And it's like the writing in general is just good. The characters and how they like created them and built around them is just so good. All their interactions
with each other are so good. Like the dynamics between them all.
And they all have their like different types of personalities. Or they have like their running gags throughout the whole series. It's just it's so funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've been watching that a lot. I think I'm like midway through season 4. I just watched the Always Sunny in Philadelphia crossover one. Oh, which that one was funny. I've never seen the show. I've wanted to, but I don't even know what it's on. But it was funny. So yeah, I don't even know what I was talking about really. But yeah, good show. Talk
about TV shows. I finished watching Elsbeth. You might like Elsbeth.
What's that? What is it on?
I don't know.
Because I'm kicked out of Netflix because of my location, and I refuse to pay for it myself.
It's free on Pluto TV, on Hulu.
Oh, okay.
Paramount.
What is it about?
It's about this woman, Elizabeth Tassioni. She's a lawyer, but she ends up getting sent from Chicago, but she gets sent to New York to be what do you call it? She's there on a consent decree. She's there to police the police to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, but she's like super smart and witty, and she's like just this crazy, she dresses like in all different kinds of colors, but she's really good at solving like murder cases. So she ends up like helping out the detectives most of the time solve these murders, because she just like can read people really well and like picks up on all the little things and be like, it's that person. Like,
oh, okay.
But she's very entertaining. She's a fun personality.
Interesting.
But I
wonder if I've seen clips of it.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. Watched it pretty fast. She was always wearing like these crazy bucket hats, and she has like 10 tote bags that she carries with her at all times. And
what's it called again?
Elsbeth.
Elsbeth?
Yeah.
Okay, no, I have not seen it. Interesting. I know, I feel like I've only been watching that one show.
based off of something else, too. It's a spin-off of The Good Wife. And The Good Fight.
And one more. The Good Place. I don't know.
Yeah, The Good Wife and The Good Fight. Originated the role. I don't know. It was very good. I enjoyed it.
Nice. Yeah, I think the only other show that I finished recently was the Star Wars show, Andor. Which people like, but I'm not a huge fan of.
I haven't been keeping up with any of that since...
Star Wars is just a lot. I mean, I feel like the Marvel stuff is even more. But Star Wars it's interesting.
I think it was the last season of, like, Mandalorian was the last thing I watched. And it was just, like, I was kind of bored. And so I just kind of was done.
It's a lot, because it's, like, there's so much to know now, and then they add all these spin-offs, which some of them are nice, some of them not so much. But, like, the thing, like, my brothers and I talk about, or one of my brothers, is they're focusing on the wrong era. So I'll just end it at that before I go down a rabbit hole. But, yeah.
Yeah.
It was still good, though. The show was good. It was very political. It was like they're trying to, like...
Tie it into...
Somewhat, like, make connections to what's
reality.
going on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I've kind of noticed something like... I mean, I'm not into politics at all, so I don't really know what's actually happening. But I can kind of, like, get a feeling that they're trying to reference a few things.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
Oui.
Okay. But yeah.
Yeah.
So... Yeah.
Yeah, Marvel's always... The only TV show... Oh, I actually watched 2. The Marvel TV shows.
Which ones?
WandaVision and Loki.
Both seasons?
Yes.
Of Loki?
Loved it.
Loki's probably the best one.
I think it's the best one.
I think
they did... I love the aesthetic of the show, and I watch, like, the end and the beginning credits through every single time because I just am
even, like, the soundtrack.
The soundtrack, yeah.
It's really good. It's very tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I think it's so well done, and I just could watch it all day.
Yeah. That one's probably, like, the best show they've made.
Yeah.
And then I like The Falcon and Winter Soldier. That one was good. That one was also very political. But so good. Yeah. I know, I want to watch the Lilo and Stitch movie this weekend. Weekend's almost over.
Roommates watched the original last night. It's so cute.
It's honestly, it's like one of my top... I probably put it like top 5 Disney movies. It's just such a great one, and it's like about Hawaii, and who doesn't love Hawaii?
Who doesn't love
like,
Hawaii?
It's freaking awesome over there. And just Stitch in general, like the way he talks, I think is just great. You don't really understand a single thing, but it's good. He's like a little demon dog.
A little demon dog.
Yeah. So yeah, I want to watch that.
I saw one clip on TikTok of they missed in the editing of, like, one of the actors, like, petting Stitch, and they weren't actually, like, petting Stitch. You could tell that was, like, nothing there.
See, I don't like it when people do that.
Because I was like, now I don't want to watch it, because now I'm just going to look for that.
That's like, well, okay, another thing I noticed is, like, how if you were to compare movie trailers now from, like, early 2000s, it did not show... It barely showed any of the, like, important scenes. It was all just, like, B-roll type stuff. But now they show all the important scenes. Yeah. And it's like...
I just got the whole movie in 2 minutes.
Yeah. I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, I get it. You want to catch people's attention. But if it's, like, a certain movie, and it's, like, all the Marvel movies and Star Wars movies and any action movie does it, where they, like, put stills or quick captures of, like, any important scene. And then you go onto YouTube and you have these, like, nerds dissecting it all.
Yeah.
And it's like, I try not to watch it, but freaking YouTube has a thing where if you look at the thumbnail too long, it just starts playing. And I'm like,
I didn't want to know.
Sucks. So, yeah. But yeah, the people who point out all the little details, I'm like, why am I seeing this? I don't want to see this.
Yeah.
Like, why is the algorithm giving this? But, yeah. That's annoying.
That is annoying.
I didn't see that, though.
Yeah,
and I don't know what it looks like, so I'm never going to know. And I probably won't even spot it out.
Yeah.
Unless it's like so obvious. I'm like,
oh,
damn it.
Yeah.
I get it now.
There's so many things that people analyze in like movies and stuff. Because I've seen some of the videos that you're kind of talking about, and I'm like, how do you just like sit there and like try to catch every little mistake?
Well, I'm
like,
just like enjoy the moment.
I'm just trying to enjoy it and like be a part of the story. I'm not being like, oh,
yeah,
that's wrong.
Like I'm happy enough seeing it like myself in the theater catching it, but I don't go to like my brother next to me. He's like, "Did you see that?"
Yeah,
I don't do that. Or even at the end, I don't do that. Like when I watched that newer Transformers movie, Transformers 1, the animated one, there were so many like references to like the older stuff when like my dad was showing it to me. Mm-hmm. I was like, I don't talk or share about it because I'm like, who's gonna care? Yeah. Like, there's not a lot of people nowadays who are like into Transformers. Like, so I was like, no one cares.
That's fine.
So, yeah. Or even like in the Super Mario movie, they had a lot of good, like, mostly audio references to, like, all their games. Mm-hmm. And that was nice. It was nice to hear and then see it. So yeah.
Yeah.
Some people just do it differently, I guess. It is what it is.
I guess some people, that's their job, is doing that.
I mean, yeah, if they're making YouTube videos, it's obviously their job. Which is also crazy.
But you're ruining it for the rest of us.
Yeah. Well, my thing is, like, I'm obviously not subscribed to you, so why would I want to see your stuff? Like, not to be mean or anything, but it's like, I'd be subscribed to you if I, didn't really care about some certain things, but it's like,
this I care about.
Yeah.
I don't want any movie spoilers.
Yeah. Like, normally I'm pretty, I don't really care about spoilers, but when it comes to, like, certain movies, I'm like, I don't want it spoiled for me.
Yeah. Or I don't want you to pick apart this, thing that I love, and then I can't look at it the same way,
It's mainly, like, when people dissect for, like, negativity.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to see that.
Yeah. I hate when I accidentally totally, like, it's related, but, like, book reviews, and I'll be like, I really enjoyed this book, and then I get reading someone else's review, and then I'm like, well, now I hate this book.
Really?
Like, because I was like, that's a really good point. Like,
okay.
I see what you're saying, but I didn't see that originally when reading, and it just, like, it changes your whole perspective on how you view the work.
Well, that's the thing with, like, just in general nowadays is, like, everyone takes something differently. Yeah. Like, you can literally say a quote or just a sentence to two people, and, 50-50 chance they're gonna both interpret it differently. So, but I think with books, I don't read a lot of books, but I'm sure it happens a lot. Yeah. I feel like it's just like you're either just so caught into it from like whatever it is that catches you, where you're like, that's my favorite book. But then you have another person who just reads it to read it, and they like dissect everything. Yeah. They find like all the hidden messages and kind of like what it's supposed to mean and all that. I'm like, at that point, you're putting in too much work.
Yeah. This character's based off this, and it's a poor rendition of, it's like, oh my gosh, just leave it alone. It was meant to be enjoyed.
And it's like, you're now ruining it. Yeah. So thank you. That's how it is sometimes. Most of the times, I feel like. Yeah. Shall we just move on to the...
Yeah, I guess we went on a little tangent there.
Probably like 25 minutes in, so... Okay.
Doing what we do best.
Yep.
today we thought it'd be kind of interesting to do some minor research and look into some 8-bit design brief history.
Still going back to like before modern technology, I guess. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I feel like the 8-bit art style is always cool. I've always tried to dabble into it, but just never did.
It looks hard. I don't think my brain could.
Well, I saw
do it.
I have a couple videos saved, and I always meant to go back, but I never looked back at my saved videos. But it was like an easy way. You can just take a regular vector art in Illustrator, and it automatically turns into a 8-bit.
Oh, that's cool.
So I've always wanted to try it, but I've never gone back and looked at the video and followed the tutorial.
Yeah.
So that's bad on me, but you know, what can I do about it? Yeah.
Do you want to go over a little bit what you found on the computers to start?
I can try.
Try just like a very brief.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I forgot a lot of it, but I'll try to remember it as I scan through all these little articles. So I think like the first actual like PC desktop computer came out in like, I think like 1970s or something. Maybe even the 60s. But it wasn't even like the first or second Mac that you would picture. Like the big box screens. I think it was just like you had your like keyboard, your little floppy disk insert, and then that connected to like a server. I don't know. I feel like it would be just interesting to have like a whole class about this, just because the way I take it in now is their storage system works by kilobits, in which we are now at like terabytes.
Yes.
Which is like 5 levels ahead. And it's like, how, I get it on how they work, like why everything was the way it was, just because of how the speeds and storage went. But it was like a floppy disk can't even hold like a gig of storage.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I think we've talked about that before. We were like, huh?
I think when I was looking through some of this, I was like, I mean, yes, this article I am kind of scanning through does have a lot of like, you know, difficult terms and related to computers, like,
which I don't know what half of them mean.
Yeah, I don't really know what they mean, but basically, I think in like 1972 was when the first computer with an 8-bit processor came out, and I tried to search what 8-bit meant, and I still don't know what it means. So,
well, wasn't it something bytes. About
I saw something processor. Where it said like it is it relates to the processor, but I do not know how. I'm assuming speed and just how much it does. I don't know. But yeah. So the computers, the 72 was like, I guess the first 8-bit processor or something like that. And then I think in like, trying to find, I don't know if it was this one. Another thing I saw that was interesting, though, is Texas Instruments, you know, the brand that makes calculators. Mm-hmm. They were the ones who they made a type of computer in 72 that was like, I don't even know. I'm trying to find the words they used. But they developed like prototype processors for these computers.
Okay.
Which was interesting, because I honestly don't even know what Texas Instruments really does besides calculators.
Yeah.
I feel like they would do more. I don't know. They have to do more if it's like the standard calculator schools ask you to get, which it was a waste of money because I didn't even use mine.
Never used it. I did look up the term 8-bit and it references or refers to a system that processes information using 8 binary digits or bits, like you were saying.
Okay.
This means each piece of data, like a color value or piece of audio, is represented using a combination of 8 zeros and ones. The term is commonly associated with early computer systems and gaming consoles because these systems had processors that could handle 8 bits of data at a time.
Okay. Very confusing.
So,
yeah. Interesting. I find it interesting that even though that term is kind of used more for like the processing power of these computers, we still kind of like relate it to just the pixel art.
Yeah, that's what this is saying a little further down. It's now like tied in with the retro style to describe the style of graphics and music from early video games and systems like Nintendo Entertainment Systems, characterized by blocky graphics, limited color palettes, and simple audio.
I know. Because I think I have in another article, but it was like, when you think of these older computers, you just think of like the large pixel things. But I think, when did I say? I think it was like 1974 or something. I can get the date later. Was when like the first colored arcade game came out. And I kind of did research. Because when I think of like this kind of stuff, like just the term 8-bit, my mind just goes to like the classic arcade games. So mainly because the computers seemed kind of very quote unquote low end. Just because it was just, I think it was just like the kind of like Matrix looking screen where it's just black with the white text and all this.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just looking at that, I'm like, not interested.
It was 73
for
the color game. Color Gotcha.
Yeah. But one thing I also liked was that I found was in 1972 was when Atari like came out, and that was when they introduced Pong, which is a good. I feel like that's like the first video game. So, yeah. And then I think after, one thing I also found interesting was that Atari also produced a new game every 6 weeks by 1974.
That's crazy.
And I was like, I get it. It's probably like a growing thing then, but 6 weeks? That's kind of insane. But I don't know. Because I feel like making a game back then is kind of the same difficulty as making a game now. Like, even though now they kind of focus more on the graphics and, you know, you didn't probably really think of that back then, but you still had to.
It was just, how can we make this functional?
Yeah. But I think for like how technology was during both times, I feel like it would still take about the same amount of time.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know.
I don't know either. I do, in my research, I found, like, it wasn't until the 80s that they were bringing in real artists to do the graphics for the 8-bit video games. Originally, it was just programmers. So I guess if you're good at coding and stuff, you know, just you're plugging out games as fast as you can.
Yeah, you don't really have time to consult an artist about it. Yeah,
you're not thinking about how it's going to look or be presented. I can see it being maybe a little bit faster process.
I mean, even like Pong, I feel like is just a very iconic game. It doesn't look bad.
No.
I think it's very, very 70s. It reminds me of the old Toyota. I don't know if it was like logo or their branding, but they had like those lines, and it was like
I feel
light
like
orange,
a lot
orange,
of places had that similar.
Yeah. But it looks nice. I like it. I don't know why. Very retro.
It feels nostalgic almost.
Yeah. I know I did find that interesting though when you told that to me earlier, because when you do look back at the older games, you do kind of like realize whoever was making these games didn't really have an eye for like designer style.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of bringing up some of the older games that I know of, and the only one that came up was, I think, Asteroids, and the little spaceship is just an arrow, or like a triangle, like the mouse cursor thing on your screen. But then I feel like it just then evolved into kind of like the Galaga looking spaceship, where it's still a triangle, but there's color.
I mean, like the early 80s videos games where they first introduced like graphic artists into the process, like they're still a little rough. I mean, this is probably the first time that these artists are working in this medium. But it's slowly cool. It's cool to see how it kind of changed over time and how more advanced it got pretty fast. Especially in the 90s. There's like way more detail.
Mm-hmm. I think it's also just an advance of technology as well.
That's true too.
Because one thing I find interesting is like when you look at... Actually, I should even see when Asteroids came out. Because I wonder if it's like... Oh, it came out in 1979. Wait, maybe I'm thinking of the wrong game. No? Okay. Well, because when I was thinking of Asteroids, I was like, it's smaller, like, pixels. So how could I have come up before? But now it kind of makes sense. But it's like when you think about these arcade games, like, the pixels are massive.
Yeah.
Like, huge. And then, so yeah. It is interesting, though, because they have to switch. Getting the color into them.
Yeah.
Was probably
They had a very limited color palette, we've learned.
Yeah. Before they switched to RGB.
Yeah.
Which I don't think was till like late 70s.
The first video games were in black and white too. Mm-hmm. Another thing I found out was that graphic designers that were doing pixel art or introduced into the 8-bit world became known as Graphicians. And now I did Google that term, and it's now known as, or it's a less common alternative to graphic designer or graphic artist, that term, Graphicians. But refers to someone who creates visuals digitally for pixel art, essentially. Mm-hmm. Which I was like, that's kind of a cool name. Kind of sounds like graphic magicians or something.
Graphic pediatrician.
Pediatrician. Graphic magicians. I don't know.
It is just cool. I mean, my favorite kind of arcade game is Centipede. And I just searched it up. Came out 1980. And you can obviously tell there's some sort of designer into this because it looks very cool. Might be biased. But like, look at the side of this thing. That is cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. But I only searched up this one because I was like, I wonder if there... I do think there was a black and white version of it. But this one I think is... I'm pretty sure is colored. Or I wonder if the black and white version I played was just on like an old...
Yeah, I was like,
thing.
I feel like Centipede's always been...
Because it's the green and red mushrooms.
Yeah.
And then it goes to like the purple and blue mushrooms or something like that. When did Pac-Man even come out? I probably feel like I probably should have searched this.
We're doing research
Pac-Man's
live.
so iconic. Okay. It just showed up the Google game. Hold on a minute. Oh, 1980 as well. So I probably feel like right when the 80s turned was when like people were pushing out games. Because I'm assuming like Tetris probably came out a couple of years after. They did make a movie on that, which I wanted to watch but never did. There's also like the Game Boy.
Yeah, Tetris is 85.
When did the Game Boy come out? 89. I guess that makes sense because it is freaking tiny. Another thing I saw, I don't know which article it was in, but it talks about like the first Nintendo making the first like home video game thing, the NES.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I can find it again. I don't know where I saw it, but something caught my eye. I think I scanned through too many articles where I got them mixed through. But yeah, I don't know when that even came out. I don't really want to search it either.
I think it's cool how, like 8-bit, that term, it was used or rose to prominence for video games, but has been, like after video games, it slowly became more of a art form, like in general, not solely for, video games.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
Well, because have you seen some of the work people do?
Yeah.
With like, I guess it's more called pixel art, but
pixel art, yeah.
It is insane. Some of them look so cool. Or even like, I mean, I used to do it, but like when people do things in Minecraft, that's pretty cool.
I'm reading this one article and it's talking about the demo scene, which was an international computer art subculture focused on producing demos of, content, like explorational content, experimental stuff. And so artists who are proficient with creating pixel art using 8-bit computers would publish their art as demos and to kind of show or create pixel art for the sake of art. And then they would share them with each other on floppy disks that, were handed to person or, mailed to each other. Yeah. To kind of show like, hey, look what I created.
Interesting.
But I guess pixel art was huge in the demo scene in the early computer era, late 80s, early 90s.
Trying to search like what they used
to create them.
Yeah.
I don't know. This just says 8-bit computers. I don't know what that entails.
Because it's like, they obviously had to have a computer.
Yeah.
But if the computers were like, meh, how could you create all that stuff? I feel like these are answers for today, pixel artists. Not so much. Maybe I have to say back then in my search.
Back then.
It says often involve manual drawing and then converting the artwork into digital formats.
I'm sure it's kind of like tracing almost, like.
Yeah.
You have an image and you're placing, the blocks over the top in the colors that you need them.
Okay. It says the artist using 8-bit computers, like the Commodore 64, ZX Spectrum, or 16-bit computers like the Atari ST. I don't know what that is. But I feel like I've heard of Atari and Commodore before. But I don't know much about them. Interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot. Their color palettes were usually 256 colors. So they had to be very careful about the choices they made with color. to achieve visual effects within, those constraints of, being pixels and no color.
I wonder what colors they had. I'm going to search that up. Unless you have it up right
now. I don't know. People are still using it today, or 8-bit. It's definitely, an art style now.
Okay.
Started as just limitations.
I think those are the colors.
In computing. Okay, that's a pretty good color palette.
Yeah.
But understand that there's not a lot of like muted,
very bright
colors. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get like those soft tones. It's all like those bright and sharp toned colors. Interesting. I was going to say something, but I totally forgot what it was.
Oh, no.
I don't even know what it was. Oh, and I probably am going to assume it won't come back. Oh. Look at this. This isn't what I was going to talk, but it shows like different screens or whatever.
Oh.
But it's just like
you can see all the lines and
better blend, at least with gradients. I mean, I don't really know who's doing the gradient back then. But it just shows 8-bit and 10-bit.
I don't think a lot of people use gradient with 8-bit.
I did see, I don't know if it was, I don't know what link it was, but there's like, I think it was your pixel art link. I probably won't even show this one on screen because I don't want to do that work. Where is it? There's one that was like, there's a example of pixel art that was crazy, insane. Or maybe it wasn't even this one. This one kind of looks like pixel art in games. Dang it.
Gosh, yeah, I was looking for. Sometimes when I'm trying to find information on this, like it'll just like come up with like free pick or like VecDeezy, Shutterstock of being like, here's what you're looking for. And I was like, I actually want information, not an actual image of what I'm trying to search.
That's how it be sometimes.
I was like, we use all that stuff so often. It's all it gives us now.
Yeah. Or else I hate when you have to like be very specific about what you search, because if you don't, it'll give you everything for the wrong thing.
Yeah.
But yeah. The way I think of it though, sometimes is pixel art's very similar to like halftones. Like if you were to do like how you were to screen print.
Mm-hmm. Did you know there's music associated with 8-bit? And it's called chiptune.
I think
it's now a whole genre of electronic music.
It's like the like arcadey sounding.
Yeah, it's the arcadey style stuff.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of it before.
The very short, repetitive little.
It's like the
chips,
beep,
beep
beep beep type stuff. Very like,
but
Pokemon DS.
Whole genre that's associated with 8-bit art.
I only remember this though because I was watching a video and it was like some of these YouTubers I watched. They were going through like their old like intros and outros or whatever. And one of them, he's like an Irish guy. And it was an 8-bit Irish song. And he's like, I feel like if I search it, it'll be the first thing on the list. And he like searches 8-bit Irish. And then it says like, I think it said something tune. And then clicked it and it was one. I was like, I knew it. But that was funny. But yeah.
I'm getting a whole article about what chiptune is and how to make chiptune beats.
Can you make it like GarageBand?
Yeah.
I remember I used to like mess with GarageBand. I never made anything. But I just like some of it.
Wow, it's a real helpful article. It's like you'll need hardware and software, the development of chiptune-inspired tools like trackers, synthesizers, and synthesizers.
I feel like synthesizers are huge
that new musicians can create and enjoy chiptune sounds. That was so helpful.
Yeah. I feel like they're like a must-have, synthesizers for that stuff to get those right sounds. It's like that clapping sound. That clapping sound is it's like a very nostalgic sound.
I was like, oh, I'll play this. And I was like, oh, wait. Don't want to get dinged for anything.
No, I doubt it. I doubt it. Oh. I don't know what else. I mean, I feel like I just skimmed through everything.
I feel like 8-bit art or like pixel art was like the very early introduction to digital design.
I think it definitely was because they're just working with what they've got.
Yeah.
Even like game design, or if that's what they call it.
Like in our couple episodes ago when we were talking about what graphic designers did before computers, you know, with like cut and paste boards and doing everything by hand, I think this was their introduction to.
This was probably like their way to get into like computers. Yeah. Because it's like, I feel like if you weren't either like an engineer, scientist, or like artist, there's really no need to use a computer. Yeah. Because you're probably like, if you're just like English history teacher, you're probably like, what's the point of spending the time to learn this new thing? Because I feel like some people might be like, this isn't going to last. Yeah. I also think it was very complicated to learn. Yeah. So there's no time.
I think everyone knew, though, that computers were going to go somewhere and that they were going to end up being something big. So that if you wanted to, you know, succeed or transform your art or...
It's like, you know, AI now.
You jump on the bandwagon and you figure it out.
Yeah. It's like how people deal with AI. Or... Is there anything else? Like, what is something we have that is like life, quote unquote, life-changing?
Life-changing.
I don't feel like there is anything.
I think it's because we've grown up with it, but I think...
Well, it can't be... I think the only thing with computers is AI. Yeah. But it's like, it doesn't have to be an electronic or any sort of device to be life-changing. Yeah.
I don't know.
It was COVID, I guess.
We'll find out, I guess. All right.
I'm trying to think, because I feel like there's nothing new or anything that's like, where I'm like stoked about it, you know? Interesting. But yeah. Shall I just move on?
Did you remember what you needed to remember?
No. No? There's no way I'm going to remember it. There's no way. I can't even, it's not even worth it to like force myself because I'm just so far off it now.
Yeah. That's all right. I feel like we learned a little bit about 8-bit and the early introduction of pixel art and design. Mm-hmm. We want to move on to font of the week.
Yeah. Maybe I'll do some pixel art for the next one.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Last episode, we chose Zapfino as the font of the week, which is like this very cool script font.
I also stated last episode that I've seen this before, and I was correct.
You were right.
It's an Apple font, and it's in the list on Procreate.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And also, when I was looking through the glyphs, they have like 2 different options for the Apple logo. One in like
I did not realize that.
Script, and then just the solid. Because I was literally like, I've seen this before, but where have I seen it? Because I've seen just like the Zapfino text. I was like, where would I have seen that? And then when I was working in Procreate last week, I was like, there it is.
Off topic, but on topic. I found, I don't know if you've heard of Chicken in a Barrel. It's like a Hawaiian barbecue place.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go there. I've been to that burger place next to it.
Yeah, they just put one in on the boardwalk.
And those apartments are insane.
I live right over there. But I was like, oh, I'm going to see what's on their menu. And they, on their website, their whole website is Montserrat alternates.
No way.
Yes. Look it up. I remember pulling up the menu. I was sitting with my parents and I was like, no. And they were like, what? And I was like, they use Montserrat alternates. I was cringing.
Why not even just Montserrat?
Yeah. I picked it out so fast because of that damn E, that capital E.
The one that looks like a 3?
Yeah.
Chicken in the... Oh! That is disgusting.
Yeah.
I hate to say it.
Yeah.
I just don't like... Why would you do that? Like, okay, my thought process is... the A looks very Hawaiian. I feel like whenever I think of the word aloha, the A always has the arch and the cross. It's never like pointy A.
Yeah.
But the E...
It's the E.
Sucks.
And why did they put everything in caps? So all I see is that E.
Well, like the order ahead, you mean? Or what are you looking at? I guess it might be different on the phone.
Yeah. There's this video that plays on their website. And at the beginning, it was like the header and the subheader were just Montserrat alternates in all caps. And it was just so many.
What does it even have?
It looks good. I do want to try it, but I was...
Wait, you haven't even been there?
I haven't been there.
Oh, I thought you went there. They're pork.
I was there with my family along that boardwalk. Okay. We ended up going to Tim's Burgers, which was very good.
What are your thoughts on the condiment cow? I hate that thing.
It's a little uncomfortable.
It is... I mean, I don't hate a lot of things, but I hate it. It is like the most disgusting, unsanitary thing I have ever seen.
Yeah.
And it is also, I wouldn't say it's the most Idaho thing, but it's like the most like middle states thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then I was like, oh.
But you see like a kid run up to it and like start, I'm like.
I was like, no. I just want my ketchup.
Yeah. My mom and I went there and we both had like the same reaction. I think mine was a little stronger, but.
All of their fries, onion rings, sweet potato fries were so good with the Parmesan.
It's fried in tallow.
Yeah.
To me though, that didn't do much.
Rosemary on top. It was
the rosemary was
so
good. Yeah, their stuff's good. I just don't like that damn cow. God.
I don't want to milk a cow to get my ketchup. Thank you.
I know. This place looks good though. It's like
it does look really good, but when I pulled up their website and I cringed when I saw that. I was like, no, they didn't. And I remember when we picked that as the fun of the week a couple weeks ago.
When I first saw
looking at it, I was like, oh, this doesn't seem too bad. And then we started working with it and we were like, nope.
It was because when you first look at it, the E was lowercase.
Yes.
So until you need one of those.
We're judging this entire typeface by the uppercase E.
I think it's reasonable. I mean, if anyone were to look at it, they'd be like, why? It's so... Everything else is just like so straight. And then the E is not. It's like an M, but sideways. Or a 3. Backwards 3. It's literally probably like the 3 backwards.
It is a 3 backwards.
Interesting. I also find it funny though because on their website, I think it's their main logo, it looks like the font they use for Hawaii is the font used for Avatar, The Last Airbender. I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like it. So yeah. It's literally everywhere. I just saw smoked barbecue, and it was there. Ooh, the Q is interesting too. It looks like the power symbol.
Yeah, it's not fun. I don't like it.
It's fine. Let them do their thing.
This week's font of the week. Zapfino. Script typeface that apparently Apple uses.
I think it is an Apple.
Or it is an Apple typeface.
Yes. I think. I don't know. Okay. I'll go first as per usual. What is there to say? It's black and white. The quote I used for this week is, "The silence is so loud," like 90 decibels. I just noticed I spelled decibels wrong. I'll have to fix that.
It's fine.
I was looking at it earlier because I was like, I feel like I spelled this wrong. You
spelled loud right, though. I know you were worried about that one.
Yeah. Well, now looking at it looks fine. But when I was working, I was like, that looks off. I was like, is it really an OU? But yeah, so it says the silence is so loud, like 90 decibels loud. And then on the bottom it says, that's as loud as New York. And I got the idea for this because maybe like a couple weeks ago, I watched A Quiet Place Day One. And the whole movie's about like being quiet and whatever. And they open up the movie by saying like the average amount that New York produces or whatever is 90 decibels. Oh, and it's interesting because like those monsters are like based off of sound. So it's like an interesting way to see it because it's like the first time New York has to be quiet. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I didn't think of it then. And then I was like, what should I do today? And so, yeah.
I think it works well with...
I think so too.
I like the typefaces you picked out too.
Yeah, well, I was like...
To pair with it.
I was like, I need to figure out how to use this, but I don't know how. So I just, for the audio people, the word silence and New York is in Zapfino. And then everything else is in a new serif typeface I found. I think it's called Etna. And it's like it's a variable one, so it just has its regular look, but then it goes to like narrow, extra narrow, extra narrow. But it doesn't go wide, so yeah. And it's simple.
Yeah.
So yeah, nothing too special. And then there's a picture of New York in there.
Black and white.
Yeah. I didn't want to like make it too distracting because it's like I feel like it kind of matches with the message.
I think
even though it's not a message. It's something.
It is something. I think, yeah.
I feel like when you think of silence, it's black and white, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I was trying to find a picture of like Times Square because you like know it's loud. But I think if you just see like New York,
you see the whole city. Loud. Well, it's loud everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. So. It is indeed. It is also crazy, like how many buildings.
I know.
It's all buildings, really.
It's shocking. Have you been to New York?
When I was little. I want to go back though.
It's like shocking being there after like living in the more rural area.
Well, when I went to Chicago, like with my brother, I was like, I always say I don't want to live in a city, but I was like, it's kind of nice. I mean, Chicago is kind of, some parts of it is pretty scary.
Yeah, some parts of it is pretty scary.
But I was like, And like we met up with one of my cousins. She took the train, and we even took the train into the city. I was like, kind of nice. We don't have that here.
Yeah. I think we could definitely do better in public transportation, but I like how big Boise is. Like, it's like perfect.
It's so small, which I like. Perfect. I like it, but it's also like, and I think New York is too big.
Yeah.
But like.
Even Boise traffic gets me sometimes. I can't imagine if it was even bigger than it already is, because oh my God.
Yeah.
You're sitting on the freeway for an hour trying to get home during rush hour. Like,
well, it's like
ridiculous.
My biggest beef with this whole area is the infrastructure.
Yes.
No one clearly thought about, what if this place were to get popular? Oh, let's put one freeway. Let's not have any trains. Let's only make it for freight. Like, come on.
Yeah.
But it is crazy to think, though, that this, like, valley is, like, all Idaho has, really.
Yeah.
Like, you have the east side of, like, Idaho City, Pocatello, stuff like that. And then north is, like, Sandpoint. I feel like that's it, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
It did get very popular here.
Yeah.
Have you been out in Caldwell?
I'm never out in Caldwell.
Oh.
Or in Nampa.
The main highway, Karcher Road down there, it's been just like a 2-lane, one lane each direction.
Are they doing construction?
Forever. But they've put in so many houses and subdivisions down there that like that road physically cannot handle the amount of cars that are on it, and it takes forever to get anywhere. But they're finally doing construction on it, which should have happened like years and years and years ago, to have a 4-lane highway with a middle like shared left turn lane.
Okay.
But it's gonna take them forever to complete.
It's like the one road.
Yeah.
Whatever's happening over there.
So bad.
They're like, oh, we're gonna work on better routes. Yeah, right. As long as you still have Eagle Road.
Eagle Road.
Chinden or whatever. Chinden's nice and all, but like, you need highways, not highways / regular streets. Highways. One freeway I can deal with. But yeah. Rush hour is insane.
Everywhere. It's not only on the freeway. It's also on
if it's everywhere. Like 2:30 to 4:30.
It goes to like 7 now in some areas. Like 2:30 to 7.
Sometimes I just have to go out to get some stuff at the trophy store. Like, I'm working on something. I need to get some stuff from like Home Depot. It's like an hour because you're just stuck in traffic for like 30 minutes. I'm like,
but the Home Depot is like 2 miles away. And it could take you 10 minutes if no one was on the road.
Well, yeah. Another thing I look is like, and I was talking about this with my brother because he was like, because back home, if it's like 11 miles away, you're like, oh, 15, 20-minute drive. 7 miles here? It's like 30 minutes. I'm like, what? I was like,
the other day,
damn.
I got the job at the beer garden to be closer to home and faster commute and everything. I left 30, because it's downtown, I have to like find free parking and then like walk all the way to work. So I left 30 minutes before my shift started because I was like, oh, it only takes like 4 minutes to get downtown. Traffic was so bad, I didn't get downtown until 20 minutes later. And so I quickly had to park and was like sprinting to work because it took too long.
There's no parking, like free parking. It's all paid
because
for.
Traffic was so bad.
Yeah. Anytime I go downtown, I park at Morrison Park. And then I bike or skate into town.
Yeah, I was like, I could have ridden my bike and it probably would have taken 15 minutes.
I went on a bike ride Saturday. And I don't really time myself, but I looked at my watch. I made like my full loop in like an hour or something. But I kind of go from like, I go all the way to that orange bridge by the golf course. And then I go down to like the fairgrounds. Mm-hmm. And I was like, probably just bike if you're ever close. Like,
yeah.
I feel like it's never busy. I also did go into town one time and there was like no traffic. It was on a Monday morning too. I was like, where is everyone? It's busy right now.
So I can't imagine living in New York because here's bad enough sometimes.
Yeah. I know. I feel like I would never live in a city. I'd probably like experience it when vacationing, but never full time. It's also like tiny. Like you see those like, can I tour your apartment? And like, yeah, I'm paying $2,000 for this closet. And it's like, all right.
Then I'm upset I'm paying $2,000 for, a 4-bedroom house.
Yeah, I was just like, So, yeah. I do wonder what it's like now. Because I think when I went, I was probably like 8. And I honestly don't remember much.
Yeah.
All I honestly remember is we went on a food tour, and they took us to a cheese spot. It smelled so bad. I didn't even want to go in because once you open the door, you like get the whiff of mold.
Yeah.
You're like,
disgusting.
So, yeah, one day, I don't know when. I don't think I even know anyone who lives there. So it's like, why would I even go? You know? Because what really is over there besides hot dogs? Yeah. How's your fun of the week?
It was good. I liked this one. Wishing I did a little something different now looking at it, but I had the song Wonderful Nothing by Glass Animals stuck in my head this morning when I was working on it. And so I was like, that's the inspiration, that's what we're going with. And so I pulled a picture of Glass Animals, the artist, and threw it in the risograph pack, give it some texture, removed the background on it, and kind of made like a tour poster for them for their Wonderful Nothing tour that I came up with, And I used Zapfino and this bright yellow color with the word wonderful, and then nothing is in the typeface Leighton, which I thought paired well with Zapfino because it's it's a sans serif, or it's a serif, but it's very...
It has like that elegance look.
Yeah, it's very subtle. I think the weight of it matched well with Zapfino. And then underneath the Wonderful Nothing tour, it says Glass Animals and Zapfino again. And I wish I would have put just like the lyrics to the song underneath it. Instead, I was like, ChatGPT, give me a blurb about a random, just, to fill that space right below it. And as always, I put the date on the bottom and put a little bit of like a teal color grunge over the top of it all.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah, the typeface you use with that does work with it nicely. With the thin and thick strokes or whatever. Very nice.
Yeah, and I think the body copy, maybe I'll change it before for the recap, I'll put the lyrics in the bottom instead. Yeah. But I used, what is it, Bebas
Noye.
Yeah. New for the...
I like the way it looks, but sometimes, this isn't about your post, it's about Bebas.
Yeah.
I like the way it looks, but sometimes I look and I'm like, this is like very, doesn't feel original.
Yeah.
Because I use it a lot at in the trophies.
A lot of Anton.
I
feel
Anton and Impact.
They're half brothers.
They're all related, and
yeah.
Every time I see it, it's like sometimes it looks nice, but sometimes it doesn't. I'm just like, you could pick something different. Or and this is kind of ratting and making fun of him or whatever you want to call it. But my brother makes he's just trying to fill in time and work on his skills. So he's doing some video editing stuff. And so his subtitles was an Impact. And I was going to be like, change those right now. And the color of it didn't really look too great either. But I was like, I don't really want to crash his parade. So I'll keep it to myself.
Yeah.
So yeah. But I do think Impact and all those Antons, they're just they stand out. I mean, yeah, I guess they all do actually. My dead giveaway for Bebas is the R. If it has that little curve on the bottom, on the right leg, that's how I know.
I see it.
Yeah. My replacement though for Bebas is using a typeface called Barlow, and they have a condensed version of it. Mm-hmm. That's my replacement. So people can still notice it if they used it, but it's not exactly.
Yeah. I see that.
So yeah, but I'm all good. Very good. I like the contrast though of the yellow.
Yeah, the whole poster is in that teal color, but then Wonderful is in that bright yellow, and it stands out
very nicely.
It's like weirdly subtle too at the same time. I don't know, but it works.
It's nice. Even though if it's like such a small amount of the yellow, it still helps with like kind of like separating it, I guess. Mm-hmm. Versus the all teal. It would have been too much.
I just realized Glass Animals is coming to Nampa, and I'm now like, tickets? But it's the day after I get back from Europe, so I'm like, I might not be in the mood.
You never know, though.
Never know.
You never know.
Might be very tired, but I might go.
Could be worth it. It also depends on what time you get back, what time the concert's at.
Yeah, I think we're getting back around 4 p.m. the day before, and the concert's not till 8 p.m. the next day.
So you have enough time to sleep the whole day.
Yes.
So technically you can.
Be ready. I'll think about it.
You can sleep the whole day, have a good breakfast, even if it'll be like 5 p.m. and then you can head on over.
Okay, for the next font of the week, we were going on theme with this episode with 8-bit design, and we chose Puffin Arcade on Adobe Fonts.
Yes. I hope I can do something cool with this.
The pixel art.
Very pixely, and there's a bunch of different options.
Yes, there is. Well. Some of them look like a bitmap. There's like hashy one.
Lines.
One looks like cross stitch almost, it looks like.
You have like vertical lines.
You got outlines.
You have like a pixelated
I like
fade.
the overlapping one. That one's fun. With the thick shadows.
The Nerf?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I want to use that one. I want to use the warp as well with that gradient. I feel like that'll be fun. Who knows? Ooh, or chrome. I don't know. I'll mess with it.
This one would be good for some of our podcast stuff too, I feel like.
This one?
Mm-hmm. Maybe in the next recap template.
Yeah.
Which I have to make a new one this week anyway, so maybe that will be my font of the week. This recap template is my font of the week.
I know. I was
2 in 1.
I was thinking about, moving away from the poster design for font of the week and moving either to like a made up social post or something totally else.
Yeah, that's true too. We've only done
posters, but it's like you can do so much more.
I think it's just because it's easy,
It is super easy. And most of the time,
we're doing it.
I do this
right
a couple minutes before. Which sometimes I intend to get to it earlier, but I get distracted.
Yeah, happens.
Or I just
all the best intentions to do it early, but every time I come here, usually we sit here in silence for 40 minutes and do the font of the week.
Yeah. My thing is I open up the file on my computer, and then it starts screaming at me, and then it starts acting really slow, and I'm like, all right, you're done. So, yeah. It is what it is.
Yes, so Puffin Arcade. What else? Oh, we just uploaded a bonus episode to Patreon. Mm-hmm. What did we call it? Poster Panic? Yes.
I think so.
Poster Panic.
I just had to come up with something.
Yeah.
I was like, we need the name for this.
It's going to be a new series.
Yeah.
Bonus episode series that Ty and I are doing to see how many posters we can create in an hour. Mm-hmm. And the goal is to eventually have 100 posters to make one big poster with all 100 of our posters on it. So we're each making 50. Mm-hmm. But we didn't get very far.
I'm at 16.
I think I'm at 20. And some of them are just like solid color with an image on it. Like
some of mine are white with black text. Or black with white text.
Going fast. I love my favorite one I think I made was like the pink background with the cat on it and it just says cat. That's it.
I don't know which one I like the most. I like a lot of mine.
You started off very good, very thoughtful with all yours, and then you were like, oh shit, we have a time crunch. I didn't mean to swear in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm gonna do the next batch though.
I don't know either.
But yeah, so new little mini series. I'm hoping it's probably only gonna be 2 more episodes.
Yeah,
based on our current speeds. When will the next one come out? I have no idea. Whenever, really. I mean, we got to use up that trial. I guess we're gonna be paying for it anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah. So new Patreon episode and
go claim your stickers too.
Yes, you can still claim your sticker packs. I have been planning on working on some new stickers to make a new one, but I don't know. I feel like there's no, at least like graphic design wise, there hasn't been a whole lot of ideas popping up in my head that could be a cool sticker.
Yeah.
And I also feel like a lot of them are already made, and so I don't really want to copy. So maybe the next pack will just be like random things.
It doesn't have to be related, I don't think.
Like hot dogs.
Yeah, if you want a whole collection of hot dogs.
Maybe that's what I'll do. One thing I did want to do was I wanted to make like, I can't remember if it was just the whole Instagram account in general or just like a design project, but it was kind of do something where research like, because almost every single state has their own kind of hot dog.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either eventually go to all the states and try them, or design something of it, either a 3D model, poster, just whatever.
A hot dog for every state.
Mm-hmm. And do something like that.
That'd be fun.
Yes. But for someone like me, I feel like I have so many hypothetical projects. I can't pick just like one to focus on.
Yeah.
So, because I feel like I'm just jumbling through a bunch right now. And it's not going anywhere. So yeah. Maybe it'll be the hot dog pack. Maybe we'll do that.
See.
But yeah. You can join the Discord if you'd like for Font of the Weeks. I can't even remember some of the names. What was the phone line name?
The hotline?
Yeah, the hotline.
Yeah, to share your problems or...
Share problems.
To yap or...
Hang out. Share any feedback
Hotline.
or ask for feedback. The vet line, that's what it's called. I remember. But yeah.
And
I feel like we haven't posted our Font of the Weeks there.
Yeah, it's been...
Maybe I'll do that.
I was doing good for a while there, and then I kind of...
We went on the break.
Yeah, and then I'm still on break mentally.
Yeah, definitely. I think just doing it remote does something. It throws me off a little bit.
Yeah.
So
I think we get more done when we're actually like here.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Even though I do think doing it remote is a little bit faster.
Yeah, well, I don't gotta drive.
Yeah, that too. So yeah.
Yeah. And as always too, there will be a Instagram recap of the episode and what we talked about today, along with pictures of our fonts of the week. We need to do a sad to rad. We haven't done one in a while.
Yeah. I was hoping I would show off that logo. I was working for my mom, but I have not touched that. I have not touched it in months. One day I'll finish it. I haven't gotten a text about it, so.
No deadline.
Yeah, no deadline. I don't even know if I've worked on anything where it's kind of like revamping something. So.
Yeah.
Maybe something will come up.
That'd be good.
Maybe I'll just take an old design and spice it up a bit.
Could always do that.
Go over my font of the weeks and change them up.
I know. I was like, I'm going to change this font of the week. Now that
a lot or just
not a lot,
text?
just the text.
My change is my spelling.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just small adjustments. Maybe if we never said anything, they wouldn't know. Mm-hmm. And then we could have just posted the ones we wanted.
True. But you got to be honest with yourself. Yeah. So.
And this is event line after all.
Yeah, you got to point out the mistakes and all that. No hate, no shame. None of that mumbo jumbo type stuff.
Yeah.
Well, alrighty. Shall we close it out?
I think so.
Okay. Thank you for tuning into 1-800-SAD-DESIGN. Until next time, keep designing, stay inspired, and dial into design. Bye.
Bye.